Sudah kena pos kan?
Oh, sudah.
Relax Pak. Dapat tuh ya. Belum. Berapa gila gitu? 70% sudah minta. Belum ganti. Cok, silakan. Silakan. Iya, bilang tadi loh.
Masa artikel sudah start Oke. kan神情应该没有发生，他神情轻松自在。
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang Terhormat Datuk Seri Setia Dr. Haji Muhammad Hisham dan Haji Jaafar, Menteri Kesihatan. Yang Mulia Setiausaha Tetap Kementerian Kesihatan. Yang Mulia Timbalan Setiausaha Tetap Kementerian Kesihatan. Ketua Pengarah dan Pengarah Pegawai Kanan dan hadirin hadirat sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan selamat petang. Terima kasih kepada semua dan rakan-rakan media yang hadir pada petang ini bagi sidang media status terkini jangkitan COVID-19 di negara Brunei Darussalam. Sebelum memulakan sidang media ini, sukacita menjemput Yang Mulia Haji Ruzaini bin Haji Rosli untuk memulai bacaan surah Al-Fatihah. Seterusnya, Majlis yang hormatnya mempersilakan Yang Berhormat Datuk untuk memulakan sidang media pada petang ini.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Kementerian Kesihatan Negara Brunei Darussalam ingin memaklumkan kepada orang ramai mengenai perkembangan terkini jangkitan COVID-19 di negara ini. pada hari ini 14 Mac 2020 sebanyak 3 lagi kes baru telah disahkan dijangkiti COVID-19 yang membawa jumlah keseluruhan kes di negara ini kepada 40 orang. Kesemua kes-kes baru ini mempunyai kaitan dengan kluster perkumpulan keagamaan tabligh di Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, di mana seorang adalah ahli jemaah tabligh, manakala 2 lagi adalah ahli keluarga kepada jemaah tabligh yang telah disahkan dijangkiti COVID-19. Kes 38 ialah seorang lelaki tempatan berumur 17 tahun yang tidak menuntut maupun bekerja. Beliau telah berada di perkumpulan tabligh di Kuala Lumpur dan pulang ke tanah air pada 3 hari bulan Mac 2020 dengan menaiki pesawat AirAsia dari Kuala Lumpur ke Miri, Sarawak. Beliau tidak mempunyai tanda-tanda jangkitan. Kes 39 berumur 38 tahun ialah adik ipar kepada kes 13 dan isteri kepada kes 33. Beliau telah menghadiri makan malam keluarga bersama kes 13 dan kes 33 pada 4 hari bulan Mac 2020. Beliau tidak mempunyai sejarah perjalanan ke Kuala Lumpur dan tidak mempunyai tanda-tanda penyakit. Kes 40 berumur 9 bulan adalah anak perempuan kepada kes 15 yang tidak mempunyai sejarah perjalanan ke Kuala Lumpur dan tidak mempunyai tanda-tanda jangkitan. Kementerian Kesihatan ingin memaklumkan kepada orang ramai bahawa Alhamdulillah, kesemua kes-kes yang sedang dirawat di Pusat Pengasingan Kebangsaan adalah berada di dalam keadaan baik dan stabil, tidak menghidap demam panas pada masa ini dan tidak memerlukan alat bantuan pernafasan. Kementerian Kesihatan masih giat menjalankan penyiasatan kontak bagi setiap kes. Setakat ini, sebanyak 638 orang telah diarahkan untuk menjalani kuarantin menurut Akta Penyakit Berjangkit Penggal 204. Sementara itu, sejak wabak COVID-19 bermula pada awal Januari 2020, sebanyak 776 ujian makmal bagi COVID-19 telah dijalankan. Kementerian Kesihatan ingin memaklumkan orang ramai bahawa kesemua warga tempatan yang telah menghadiri perkumpulan tabligh di Kuala Lumpur telah dapat dikesan. Daripada jumlah keseluruhan seramai 85 orang, 76 telah kembali ke tanah air dan telah menjalani ujian makmal bagi COVID-19, di mana 19 orang didapati positif dan 57 orang negatif. Sementara itu, seramai 9 orang masih berada di Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, di mana 8 orang daripadanya sedang menjalani kuarantin dan masih menunggu keputusan makmal bagi COVID-19, manakala seorang penuntut warga Brunei yang telah didapati negatif bagi ujian makmal COVID-19 sedang menjalani kuarantin di Hospital Sungai Buloh, Selangor. Orang ramai, khususnya jemaah tabligh, adalah diingatkan untuk tidak menyertai mana-mana perkumpulan tabligh besar-besaran buat masa ini, termasuk perkumpulan tabligh yang akan diadakan pada 19 hingga 22 Mac 2020 di Makato, Sulawesi Selatan, Indonesia. Kementerian Kesihatan ingin mengingatkan orang ramai bahawa walaupun jumlah kes baru pada hari ini tidak menunjukkan banyak peningkatan, kebanyakan kontak masih menjalani kuarantin dan terdapat kemungkinan kes-kes positif baru akan dikesan. Dalam pada itu, trend penularan jangkitan di negara-negara lain di seluruh dunia juga telah menunjukkan peningkatan yang drastik. Dan walaupun keadaan COVID-19 di negara ini adalah terkawal, risiko kemasukan dan penularan virus tersebut di negara ini masih wujud. Sehubungan dengan itu, Kementerian Kesihatan juga telah meneliti semula risk categorization bagi negara-negara yang terjejas dengan COVID-19 dan orang ramai adalah dinasihatkan untuk merujuk laman sesawang Kementerian Kesihatan untuk senarai terkini. Untuk maklumat lanjut dan perkembangan terkini, orang ramai bolehlah melayari laman sesawang Kementerian Kesihatan www.moh.gov.bn atau menghubungi talian nasihat kesihatan 148 pada bila-bila masa. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Datuk. Dan ini sesi sidang media membukakan soalan-soalan dari pihak media. Sila perkenalkan diri dari agensi Auda sebelum mengajukan soalan. kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rasidah from the school. Dato, we have several questions from our viewers. First is regarding shortening working hours. So he is asking whether shortening working hours will actually help parents to lessen exposure to the virus, especially if they have to send the children yang dulu ke their care lah. So will it help in? Okay, let me phrase the question. What is the makes you think about shortening working hours temporarily during this time? Will it lessen the exposure of the virus? And then this will help a number of parents who send their children to their care, as all their care are closed down.
Buat masa ni belum ada perancangan untuk mengurangkan waktu bekerja. Walau bagaimanapun, beberapa agensi kerajaan telah pun memulakan what do you call this? Working from home, okay? But the business continuity must be there, okay? So in the near future, I think Jabatan Perdana Menteri akan membuat garis pandu dengan lebih lanjut mengenai ini.
I think this is particularly concerning staff or workers who are not able to work from home. Yeah, thank you. Another question, Dato. Yesterday, the media representative, we had an opportunity to actually go to the flu center and check the process behind the last swabbing and the test. What is the capacity and how many tests can be conducted in a day?
In a day, with what we have now, we can do about 60 a day. Okay, but we plan to increase that capacity in the near future to 500 per day.
500 per day. That's only for the swabbing. How about?
Not the swabbing. Swabbing we can do hundreds, but the actual test.
Okay. This is for
The
the
actual, yeah,
test
itself.
Okay. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. This is just statistics. According to statistics, Brunei currently has the highest increase in terms of affected in population ratio than Singapore and Taiwan. Is this something that we should be worried about? And secondly, people have been asking, this is the most asked questions about accessibility to hand masks and hand sanitizers. Is the government going to sort of assist in this matter?
As you've mentioned, Brunei, because of the small ratio compared to China with almost 2 billion population, the ratio looks very high. That's why it's very important for us to contain this. Okay? So it's not just MOH to do this, but it's all of you. It requires the whole of you to ensure that everyone mengikuti segala nasihat, especially of not traveling abroad, okay, and having a big mass gathering. Okay, only by doing this containment in a proper manner, we can able to manage this to ensure that we don't strain too much of our healthcare system. So let me reiterate that it's not just up to MOH, it's up to you out there to ensure as a nation we're able to do this. Thank you.
Regarding to the face mask.
Oh yeah, face mask. Like I think I mentioned before, face mask is not essential for those who are well. Okay, but if you have a cough, a big cough, a sneeze, okay, you should wear a mask. Okay, but it's even better if you stay at home. Okay, and With regard to the hand sanitizer, we've asked our local company to increase their local production, Simple Pharma. Okay, I think Ministry of Finance and Economy have worked closely with Simple Pharma to increase the production of hand sanitizer. Near future. Like, on that note, yeah, thank you. If you don't have hand sanitizer, okay, simple hand washing with soap is much better than using hand sanitizer actually. Okay, so a good 20 seconds of hand washing. Okay, I think we've shown you the way to do hand washing is similar to what we've shown you with the hand sanitizer anyway. Okay, but you have to do it for at least 20 minutes. Wow, 20 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, otherwise you'll end up like Terminator, nothing left. Okay, yeah, 20 seconds.
Assalamualaikum, Mr. Rahida from the Brunei. I want to ask two questions. How's the condition of the first patient? And for the second one, the 9-month-old baby, how is he or she doing?
The first patient is still doing very well. Okay, like I said, they don't need any supplemental oxygen supply. So is the baby, the 9-month-old baby. Okay, but the baby is just being diagnosed today. So things can get worse within 14 days. So we hope they don't. But usually, if they do well by 14 days, inshallah, they should be recovering well.
We have a few questions from our readers. The first one is, what is the definition of a mass gathering? What number would you consider a mass gathering?
There's no specific definition for mass gathering internationally. Different country, okay, put it in different number. As you probably know, Singapore probably put down to 250. Okay, certain Western world put it 500. Okay. So in Brunei, like I said, to contain this well, the least number, as minimum as possible. Okay, so if you have other majlis akad nikah, okay, of course you need the 2 witness, okay, but plus that, just 30 to 50 like that, okay, preferably. Okay, even that, you must have, what do you call this? Either hand sanitizer or access to hand washing.
And another question we have is there any evidence of community transmission yet? And what is the contingency plan? Say if the number of infections reaches, say, 100, what the ministries plan? So if the numbers increase to, say, is there a percentage of the population at which you will take more stringent measures?
Of course, if the number increase like any country, the worst scenario will be lockdown. Okay, but we don't want to go through that phase. Okay, currently we believe we are able to contain this. Okay, and that's why to ensure we're in the right path. That's why we said we need everyone's commitment. Okay, to ensure that we're able to do this. Okay? It's not just the job of Ministry of Health. I keep reiterating this because if you all out there still go mass gathering with hundreds and go traveling abroad, no matter how many staff we have or how many money we put into this, it will be useless.
Is there a threshold for which you feel would trigger a lockdown? Is there a number or a ballpark figure that you have?
No.
But just to confirm, so there's no evidence of community transmission?
At the moment, Alhamdulillah, there's no evidence, so all cases are accounted for in terms of their reasons. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum Datuk. Kami tanya sejak ada 4 kes baru dilaporkan melapor ke MOH tadi. Tadi pagi, apakah orang tabligh tadi diambil tindakan undang-undang?
Masa ni tindakan undang-undang akan diambil kalau ia dah menurut perintah ataupun what do you call this? What's the quarantine, for example, or isolation, or go to the clinic. Apa yang diarahkan, ya. So if he's ordered to take test, for example, in the mall, then we can put the Infectious Disease Act on him.
Okay.
Ya, ini definisinya orang tabligh saja. Anybody, okay? Lari. Area itu yang unaccounted, they are accounted for already. So, yeah.
Datuk, asking about the quarantine cases. Are they given any type of medicine to help them with their sore throats or fever or flu?
For symptomatic treatment, we treat them, but the rest are just being like you in the house, really. But they're in quarantine village so that we can ensure they're in quarantine. Because it needs to be a guarded facility. Yes.
Okay. How about those that have chronic diseases? Can they still
Yeah.
the medicine?
So we also make sure the food is provided, everything is provided.
Datuk, we also have several cases yang kira students juga yang pukalasan umurnya. So does this mean like close context of the students will be examined as well?
Yes. Yes. Our staff will be doing the contact tracing.
Assalamualaikum Datuk, Aziz dari RTV. Dapat barangkali Datuk bagi pencerahan sedikit apa lockdown ini? Because ramai masih tidak faham apa lockdown ini, tidak kan terjadinya lockdown. Dapat Datuk bagi pencerahan sedikit.
That's the if kamu melihat film Contagion, di malam ada main ke HBO. That's a lockdown. Basically, you cannot go out. Okay. It's macam perintah berkurung lah. Okay, that's the worst. No, we don't want to go there. You know, like Wuhan did. Okay, the lockdown. You can only go out last time buy food. Then eventually buy food pun dah boleh. Mesti pakai order. Okay, so yeah, that's. We don't want. Na'udzubillah.
Dr. James, one of the things, just want to ask about travel restriction. Europe is now the epicenter for the disease.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any plans to increase the travel restrictions to Europe for European countries?
Yeah, we just modified this or improved the list. Okay, so Europe will be categorized in the new set of countries which we don't encourage you to go. So if you go to the website, there's a few more countries we've added.
Ada orang bertanya pasal okay, some people actually from people from the frontliners at the flu clinic. They are asking whether there are measures taken if they are running out of manpower and any contingency plan for them if some of them happen to feel burnt out.
At the moment, as you know, we've already scaled down our service. Of course, frontliners, we have to protect them to ensure their well-being are also protected. So we'll have certain measures on how to mobilize certain people. So inshallah, we might mobilize like private healthcare or other institute to help us.
And the next question is, ada tadi mention about ada yang yesterday was 2 years old and today it was 9 months. How do the parents have access? Do they have access, or how do they be taken care of?
Or by their parents. Parents also positive. So they're in together.
Okay, let's say that wasn't the case. So what happens?
I think we cannot. I think no mother will want to part with a baby anyway. So we'll isolate the mother together with her.
Dia tu 9 bulan kan?
Hmm.
So dia bersama dengan mamanya. So jika baby itu breastfeeding, macam mana? Adakah okey atau tidak?
At the moment, I think we believe breastfeeding is still good for the baby, walaupun mothernya dah, because the immunity comes at that age still helped by breastfeeding from the mother. Okay, if you weigh the risks and benefits, I think breastfeeding will still benefit the baby more.
Thank you. Just want to confirm, we heard that UBD actually mobilized the students, young nursing students from Institute of Health to actually help with this sector. So can you confirm if this is true?
Yeah. The university nurses, the student nurses, they've been mobilized to help in the wards, not in the flu center per se, but that would help as well. So some of our nurses have been taken to man the actual flu clinic, so their presence would be of great help to Ministry of Health. And on that note, there will be time when we will ask for volunteers as well. Okay, so we're working on it, on how best to do it. But at the moment belum pulang lagi. But I'm sure when the time comes, we will be needing volunteers, especially in terms of logistics or contact tracing and things like that.
To add on to that as well, what kind of situation would you require volunteers? Is there to a certain point, macam sekiranya, like, if we reach 3 digits, for example?
Oh no, 3 digits so banyak. Musim ni pun we're thinking of it already. A lot of people volunteering. So, but there must be a proper way of doing it. Okay, and especially in healthcare, confidentiality is essential. So there must be some way of signing non-disclosure and things like that. So, like I said, at the moment, a lot of people voluntarily come. So that's why we're thinking on how to make use of this great help. Now our call center have increased in the number of lines. We understand the last few days is a bit packed. Okay, so we've increased the lines. So as what Tuan Mas already mentioned, so some of them we might need to train them on how to answer the calls as well. So because these numbers are, this 148 is for 24/7. So we've been receiving a lot of calls, especially yesterday. So it's quite.
What kind of calls sebenarnya tidak?
Oh,